not my mic being muted. Hi. How are we doing? Hi, Zoya. Hi. Hello, Brimey. How are we doing? We have my liked songs playing on shuffle on Spotify, so no judging me. I've had my Spotify for, let's see, since I was a freshman in college, so it would have been 2021, so I've had it for 5 years. So I have a lot of liked songs, so do not judge me. How are you doing today? And while we chit chat, I'm gonna go ahead and get my task done. We just did away with Spotify. What did you move to? I just feel like I've used Spotify for so long that it would just take so much work to move to YouTube Music or like Apple Music or something. Just paid for premium. Our toddler watches YouTube more, but both YouTube and Spotify have some purpose, so is the lesser. It's probably just too quiet. Oh wait, I know why you can't hear it. Spotify's been really weird in making me pick which we're doing. What we're like, pick the thing again. I feel kinda free. Yeah, no. I also like Spotify just because I do listen to audiobooks on Spotify, and so that's a little bit nice. But I've had Spotify since college because I had Spotify Student, and so it was like super cheap for me. So we vibe. I feel like it's just really hard to use like any company nowadays because I feel like every company, your Twitch is acting up. Oh no. But I just feel like so many companies just have some shoddy ass like stuff going on. Like every single company lately has shoddy shit going on. And it's really annoying. I have to add another follower really quick to my... But you know, I just feel like it's just really hard to find companies anymore. Like, for example, like we're supposed to not be shopping at Target or Walmart because Target and Walmart are doing away with like DEI programs and stuff, which as someone who thinks that DEI is super important, there's nowhere else to really shop in my town though, other than like the commissary. And if you are in any way related to the military, you know, you can't get everything at the commissary. Sadly. So there are like specialty things that I have to go out. And commissary produce is hit or miss when it comes to like fruits. And my child fucking loves strawberries. And you can't really get a lot of like strawberries and stuff at the commissary. Like they're very seasonal. Which at least at like Walmart or Target I can get them year round. It really is. And like as someone who's from like a really small town, when I was living there in 2020 when the BLM movement was going on, like in the height of the BLM movement, and you know, we were supposed to be boycotting a lot of different companies, but like where we were, those companies were really the only companies that we could shop at. And so that was really complicated and really hard because like I really wanted to support the movement, but also Walmart was like the only company that we could shop at. Um, for literally like any like household good things or even groceries, just household good things, all we had was Walmart. Like for groceries, we could go to Food City or we could go to like the local IGA. So it depends on your small town. Um, like we have Food City for food and groceries, but Food City doesn't have a lot of household goods, like things you might need for your house, like or clothing. They don't have clothing either. So growing up, Walmart was really the only place you could go for clothes in our town, or you had to drive an hour. And then those were like the big expensive places like Rue 21 and JCPenney, all those. And then we can get into the whole like some of those companies aren't very good either. Or you had to order online, and most of the time, the easiest place to order online for us was Amazon, because I'm from a small town in Appalachia, and so a lot of places either hike up shipping prices there or don't ship there anyway. Um, so it just becomes really complicated, and yet again, there's a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? I don't remember the word I'm looking for. But there's just a lot of things that like go into supporting movements. Um, and like we were talking about this in one of my discords that like a lot of my friends are in, of like I was like I feel really bad that I can't go to protest because like I went to protest. I went to the big protest in my town. And like the fact that there was a peaceful protest in my town during the BLM movement was huge. Because I'm from a very conservative town. Yeah, me and my husband, when he gets out of the military, we have a plan to go as off the grid as fucking possible. um, Hello, how you doing, Miss Hippo? Welcome in. Happy Friday. But yeah, no, we have a plan to go as off the grid as possible when we are done with military lifestyle. But like, I was telling my friends, I was like, I was going to protest when the BLM movement was going on in 2020. Tricare is so nice. Tricare is so nice. Um, it's a pain in the ass sometimes, though. Like honestly, like sometimes I'm like, oh, bless Tricare, because I didn't have to pay $8 to have my child. And like my friends are like, I have a bill to pay for pushing my child out, and I'm like, I don't relate. But then I'm like having to deal with the fact that they're referring me to places that don't even exist anymore, or they're assigning me PCMs that don't have availability, and then it's like 2 months trying to get them to even find me a PCM that actually has availability. um, yeah, it's nice to not have to pay for a lot of things that like my husband actually had to pay for an ambulance. My service member husband actually had to pay for an ambulance because he got. So I was about 3 or 4 months postpartum. I was home with our baby. Well, yeah, 3 or 4 months postpartum, and he hadn't been going to softball because he was like, "I'm gonna stay home with you, obviously. Like, I'm not like gonna go." And it was the last game of the season, and he was like, "Do you feel comfortable with me being out of the house for a couple hours while I go play these last 2 games of our season?" He goes, "You can 100% say no. Please say no if you don't want me to go." And I was like, "No, I think I got it. Like, you're gonna be starting back at work soon, so I need to like be okay being by myself with him. So yes, go." About an hour into him being gone, I get a phone call. "Hey babe, what's up?" "Hey, so they're calling me an ambulance. I'm okay." "They're calling you an ambulance? What's going on? What happened?" I took a softball to the face. Are you okay? Like, why are they calling you an ambulance? Like, what's happening? He goes, well, I'm bleeding a lot. They want to make sure I don't have a concussion. Okay, what hospital are they taking you to? I don't know yet. I'll text you. I have my son and I had an emergency C-section with my daughter. I did it natural. It was free. It was free to have her thanks to Oregon Health. Ooh, Oregon, nice. Yeah, no, he goes, I'll let you know, like, I'll text you once the ambulance gets here. Oh, he's fine now. He does have, like, a scar on his eyebrow because they were gonna take him on post because there's an emergency room at the hospital on post, but they wouldn't let the ambulance through. So what would have had to happen is my husband would have had to walk from the gate to the hospital with a possible concussion and God, I didn't know how bad he was bleeding, but like blood gushing out of his face. End of our street on the army, he was trying to he was to take his promotion test. He called me from having no idea where he was. Oh no, that's terrifying. For the NHS OMG, I find it insane that one trip to the emergency room can literally bankrupt people. Yeah, it's terrible. Yeah, we're army. um, but like, you guys call it, I know Air Force calls it base, right? Because you guys call it the BX in the Air Force, if I'm not mistaken. I'm an Air Force kid. I don't remember much of it though. But they, like, I get there and like ooh, Fort Polk, nice. Fairbanks, ooh. But he's like holding it to his face. I have our baby in my hands and I'm like, how bad is it? I look, he's got blood. He's holding his uniform, like his jersey shirt to his face. That's what he's using to like hold in his face. I can't see his eye. I have no idea what it looks like. All I know is I see blood all the way down this man's pants leg, all the way down his, like, they're all over his cleats. Of course, he's a man, so he wants to wear white pants to play softball in, because what other color do they want to play softball in? Because for some reason, they want life to be miserable trying to get red brick dust out of white pants. And I'm like, how bad is it? He's like, I haven't looked at it. I don't want to look at it. And he goes, do you want to see it? And I was like, yeah. He goes to go pull his jersey off and just blood. And I'm like, put it back on. Hi, Ebony. And so they finally come in. They stitch him up. It's gushing blood the whole time. Like, because the face bleeds so much. And like, we're leaving the hospital and he has like, like the head wraps. They wrapped his head and everything, and he had to like wear that for like 2 weeks. I had to breastfeed our child in an ER, but a few like weeks later, he gets a bill in the mail from the ambulance company. And I'm like, you shouldn't have a bill. Like, I am new to being a military spouse, but like I was new to being a military spouse, but not military in general. I mean, I was a military brat. My degree is revolving around military families and personnel. So like I know a lot about the fucking military and military benefits. And I was like, you should not be having to pay military brat, a kid of military parents. But I was like, this isn't okay. You shouldn't be getting a bill. And so he like calls the ambulance company and they're like, yeah, well, since we didn't take you to a military base, we took you off post, they're going to bill you. And he was like, this is like a $3,000 bill. Like, what? and he's like, and you guys didn't even do anything. Like, y'all cleaned me up a little bit. He was like, but I was still in the ER holding my jersey to my face. And they're like, well, you'll have to call TRICARE and deal with it that way. And like, he was like, okay. And so we were like fighting with TRICARE, and they were like, well, why did they take you to the military base hospital? You should have been taken to the military base hospital. He was like, I would have had to walk from the gate to the ER with a possible concussion because I took a softball to my face. And we ended up not having to pay the ambulance fee, thank God. But like, oh my God, it was like he got the bill and I was like, $3,000. I was like, where are we gonna get that? And he was like, I don't fucking know. So, but yeah, no, I don't even the how much military, like how much healthcare in general costs in the United States is absolutely absurd. Like my friend who had a baby like right after me, she was talking about the price and I'm like, that's a lot of money. And then I've seen like some of the, like the itemized bills for like giving birth, and then like some hospitals charge you for skin to skin time, and I'm like, for what? Like, what are you all doing that you can charge for a mother to literally hold her fucking baby that she just. What the fuck do you mean? No, there was a woman on TikTok that showed her itemized bill for giving birth in the United States, and I forget what hospital it was at and like what state, but they like on the itemized bill, it was like $200 for skin to skin. And I'm like, for what? Y'all aren't fucking doing anything. She's just holding her fucking baby. Healthcare in the United States, dog shit. TRICARE, top tier. And like that's one thing that I've always told Luke. I'm like not that me and my husband are planning on getting a divorce, but I'm like, I don't think I could ever divorce you just because I don't think I could afford my health care. Like, I'm chronically ill. I have disabilities. I don't think I would be able to afford to divorce my husband, not just because I don't have a job, but also, like, rent is astronomical. Healthcare. I would cry. Like, I wouldn't be able to afford anything, let alone my healthcare. But yeah, no. But we've gone off on a 30-minute tirade. We probably should get to work on actually doing work. Um, but yeah, no, it's absolutely insane. I forgot that my camera's off because my kid was here. I have a cat in my lap. Um, you know, I can't. um, it's absolutely insane how much healthcare is. And Ebony, me and you have talked about this before. While, like, yes, it is cheaper. Like, healthcare is cheaper in the UK because, you know, MHS. But it is so bad. Like, you guys have your own problems with the fact that, like, people, it takes forever to get an appointment. Like, there's so many different other factors. And I think that's the issue that, like, we run into. After nearly 3 years of not having a gyne appointment, yay! Yay! Congratulations. I hope that it doesn't get canceled or anything. Like, I know that happened at some point for you. Like, you had one and then they, like, got the dates mixed up or something and, like, royally fucked you over. I hope that doesn't happen again. Oh, I got cheered with. I love it. But yeah, no, I, like, yet again, they, like, NHS has its own issues. Oh, is my Hades Town obsession about to be revived? Sorry, I just hear Orpheus and I'm like, oh. But yeah, no, can't stand it. But it's an actual in-person, so yay, yay. Sorry, I'm trying to find. But the doctor is scrawny. Scowy? Oh, scary. I was like, scrawny? What does that have to do with it? I was so confused as to why you were talking about your doctor being scrawny. I was like, why does that matter? They're scary. Yeah. It can be. I need to add call housing. Also, my heat is working again. Oh, this only applies to Ebony because you guys wouldn't have known. My heat was broken this morning when we woke up, like, was not working. My husband turned it all the way off and turned it back on and it started working again. But they're still coming to look at it because I was like, I'd put in a request this morning when I couldn't get to work again, and I was like, well, I'm still going to keep the request because it's obviously shutting it off because this was the second time it's done that. And I was like, obviously there's something wrong, so it needs to be looked at. And they like called and they were like, yeah, we're going to send somebody. Haven't gotten a call about them coming to look at it yet, but we vibe. It's fine. You're going to fall, baby girl. There's no support for you there. I'm trying to keep you from falling. Don't get pissy with me, little shit. I am pissed off, though, because I was supposed to go to Slam today. But because I have to wait on them to come fix my shit, I can't. Watching TV, wishing you were not. Yes, you're going to a Harry Styles concert? Absolutely. Wild. Again. So excited for you. Also, with us moving, my husband's also graduating from his school on... You went in 23? Nice. But he's graduating from the school that he's doing right now on next Friday. So I'll probably be canceling stream. I'm not 100% sure. I have to figure out what time his class is. His graduation is, but he's graduating on Friday. So, and my in-laws were supposed to come, but they have said that they're just going to wait until we get to Colorado, and then they're going to come visit us when we move to Colorado. Like the day that we get to Colorado, they're going to come, and they're going to help us get the stuff that we're bringing with us into the house. And we're going to all explore Colorado together. So I'm super excited. But that also means that I will be busy that week that we move in, which I think I already said that I was canceling stream for that week anyway, so that I could get moved in at least. But I might convince my mother-in-law to go thrifting for furniture with me. So I'm super excited. But I'm also like super nervous. Also, this is Luke's birthday. No, that's not okay. I'm kidding. Okay. I'm taking Luke out for his birthday / Valentine's Day. Because Luke's birthday is on... It's 2 days after Valentine's Day. So... but we have our friend watching him on Luke's birthday so we can go out to eat and spend some time together. But they're also moving that weekend, and movers are also coming that week and to get our stuff, so it's a great time. It's okay. uh, it's a lot. And like Jonah's birthday is the same day that it's chaotic. Wait, what? Sometimes it's with the woman who was in the room with me when I gave birth to him. So she is special. um, and I've just now gotten to that point where I can leave him with people. And this is our first time actually that I'm leaving him with someone that's not family. So this is also that's a new experience. I've never left him with anyone that's not my in-laws. So that's a new experience, but you know. So my toddler just started falling asleep for my husband. I don't expect him to fall asleep for my friend. But we're gonna be dropping him off at around 5, or she's gonna be coming here at around 5, and we should be back before his bedtime. If not, he'll stay up a little bit later and then he'll go sleep for us. It doesn't matter. She'll probably be coming here to watch him just because they're moving that weekend into their new house that they just bought, and so it'd probably be better for them to come here to watch him because they're going to be in the middle of moving. And I'm not going to be able to be at Slam or anything until I know for sure what day they're coming. She doesn't sleep on her. No, I weaned him at 13 months. Because I went dairy free while I was breastfeeding, and it was really hard on me, and I had a lot of issues with him nursing. Like, he had oral ties and everything, and it was just really hard. And then, so I was like, I'm done. It's like, you don't have to rely on nursing anymore. And it actually went a lot easier than I thought. I weaned during the day first, and he was still like nursing a lot at night. Yeah, I almost didn't make it a month either. I was really pushed by my child's doctor to stop nursing and just give him formula because he has oral ties and he has possibly a dairy allergy, so it'd just be easier to switch over to a dairy-free formula. And I was like, no, I really want to nurse. And I was like, and you can fix oral ties. And worst comes to worst, I have to cut dairy out of my diet. So guess what Makayla fucking did? She got her kid's oral ties fixed. She advocated for her child and fought like a fucking bitch. And I cut dairy until he was 9 months old. And I honestly don't think that he actually had a dairy allergy. I think a lot of it was his oral ties because he was still having symptoms even after we cut dairy, but there was no other correlation of anything. And they weren't as intense, but like we started the dairy ladder and he was perfectly fine. The second that we stopped breastfeeding, all of his symptoms went away. So I think he still had the bulk oral ties. Like, because he got his tongue tie done twice because the first time at the hospital they fucked it up and I had to go to a pediatric dentist and get it redone. And then they did the upper lip tie at the pediatric dentist too. But I think he had bulk oral ties really bad. So I was so pissed that no one caught the lip tie but me, and I didn't even get a second opinion. I went straight to the dentist to have it checked and then fixed. Good for you. I noticed when he was born that he had a high palate because I have a high palate. I don't know why it's, yeah, buccal. I don't know how, I don't know how it said buckle. I don't know. I've heard it said buccal, but they like at the hospital when I had him, I was like, he has a really high palate. Does he have a tongue tie? Because I had a tongue tie and a lip tie. You can tell because I have buck teeth. And I was like, he has a high palate. I had a really high palate because I never had my ties reversed when I was a child. And they were like, well, he does have a high palate and his, like, huh. I didn't know that. I've heard it called buccal. I didn't know that. But they were like, he does have a high palate, which could be affecting his nursing. And I was like, okay, yeah, because that was the other thing. They were like, well, nursing the first time does hurt really bad. Like your body has to get used to it. And I was like, I don't think it should be hurting this bad though. Ah, nice. See, so you were a dental assistant, so you were like, no, these are oral ties. I'm getting them fixed. I'm so proud of you. You said, fuck you. But yeah, no, I worked like, I felt like a bitch um, to get it done. And I finally, like, TRICARE stopped covering that stuff, and I had to go out and get dental care, but we ended up paying out of pocket. Yeah, we didn't have any lactation support in El Paso either. Like, especially like through TRICARE, like the lactation support was the lactation support at the hospital. And she had never heard of a dairy allergy. She had never heard of oral ties. And I was like, how can you call yourself a lactation specialist when you don't even know about things that affect on, like, affect it? Like, and she was, look at you. We love the La Leche League. We love the La Leche League. I love that for you. Look at you. Um, I am no longer in that area, and I feel like in Colorado where I'm moving, there has to be stuff there. They had like they had a La Leche League in El Paso, but it was really hard to get there, and like the most that they did is they had like the nursing, what am I thinking of? It's the nursing like get together, and it was like you could go to it's like a nursing cafe. Like you could go and like nurse. Like obviously if you're having issues, you could get help. Um which when I get to Colorado, I do plan on supporting more. Fair. That's true. I think that's the biggest thing is just it was really hard to find lactation support specifically for military. Um, we have all this film. Shut up, I wanna be such a. If you could get it up, oh. And now he's going around like off with her head. Sorry, not sorry about what. I'm just trying to have some fun. Don't worry, don't lose you. Didn't mean to anyone. I'm trying. I want to dance, but Percy's also in my lap, which makes it a little bit complicated. Okay. I also. He's gonna get mad at me, but I'm taking him out for graduation. Okay, the only requirements is that you nurse for 12 months and didn't try to give solids before 6 months and attend at least 4. So you could do virtual meetings with the Colorado group and let the leader know you're interested in becoming a leader or if she'd be okay with you. Nice. I didn't know that you could do that. That's cool. I didn't try to give solids before 6 months. He had a speech therapist because of his oral ties. And so she is a speech and feeding therapist. And like she was amazing and she really did help us with not feeding. I was also very against feeding him anything before 6 months because like with the research, it's not good for their bellies. And that was the height of us cutting dairy, and so it's not recommended for you to start solids while you're like actively cutting dairy. And that's also when he finally got his stuff done for his ties. Yeah, I didn't get to do any La Leche meetings. But we are talking about having our next kid. Once we get settled in Colorado and everything. Figure it out, I want devil horns, I wanna breathe in the rush. Made to fly. I have to text my husband and see what time his graduation is. Just wanna be alone and watch as you all just disappear. Okay, so it's gonna be more of a out for. Okay. Graduation. Yeah, so I will not be streaming. I might actually. That will really just be a play it by ear type of situation on Friday. I won't be going to slam that day though. And today was supposed to be today was a sweat club day too. Damn it! It's the first sweat club of 2025. 2026. Sad day. My life is like a video game, trying hard to beat this day. Okay. Past that's all. To keep from dying. Just again. Percy, baby. I need you to get up. I need you to get up. Get up, baby. Baby girl. Baby, get down. Thank you. She just gave me the nastiest look, by the way. She just looked at me like, you bitch. Change life is not a video game. have the shittiest team. Oh no. I shouldn't need pork chops, but I do need. So, gang, they're sending a technician to come look at my HVAC. I will still be streaming when they get here. It's gonna be like 15 minutes before they get here. I'm still gonna stream. Just giving you a heads up that there are gonna be technicians talking and stuff, and so I might mute when I'm not actively talking so that there's not chaos going on. But that also means that they're probably gonna wake up my kid, which is gonna really piss me off, but it's fine. Because that's gonna make my life a living hell for the day, but it's fine. I have to go put my dog up really quick though. But I knew too, like I was like, maybe they'll come in the morning, it'll be fine. I knew that they weren't gonna come until like lunchtime, and I don't understand, like, why. It's kind of annoying. You know what the worst attention span? I'm a boy who puts up with that. Okay. During this break, really quick, I'm gonna go put my kid. I'm gonna put my dog up, really quick. Okay, I'm hoping that having John's bedroom door closed. The problem that I'm running into is that John's bedroom is right next to my bedroom, and the heater is right next to his door and right next to his wall. So any work that they're going to be doing, he's going to be able to hear, and so that's going to be great. They're going to wake him up. I'm going to be so pissed. It's fine. I explained to her, I was like, it's working now, but obviously it's shutting off for some reason, and I don't know why. So it still needs to be looked at, but I definitely need to get waffles and that's what I'm gonna do. Like, I closed the door that to the room that Gray's in because I know Gray's gonna bark when they get here. I'm gonna be like, look, my kid is sleeping, and if he doesn't get his nap in today, I'm gonna lose my shit. So can you please? Because the last few days he's been cutting his nap at like an hour and a half, and I might just lose my shit. That should be all I need. Oh, tacos. I hate having my headset like this because it feels like it's about to fall off my face, but I have to be able to hear them when they get here. Yes, Hamilton. It's a little quiet, but you can hear it. We love Hamilton in this chat. My husband hates on Hamilton strictly because I love it. My husband loves history, but like I've been obsessed with Hamilton since high school, and he hates on it just to get under my skin. He even went and watched Hamilton with me and two of our friends, and like he enjoyed it. He was like, I enjoyed it. He's like, I just hate on it just because it drives me crazy. Yes, please DM me those. Cause, yeah, I'm fine. Love is for feeling overwhelmed and high is for I'm not alright. Then is for not being able to sleep for every night. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm feeling the pressure of keeping my feelings inside. Maybe I'm not. I'm sincerely too. Trying to pretend like I don't even know on my own. Cause yeah, I'm fine. F is for feeling overwhelmed and I is for I'm not alright. F is for not being able to sleep for every night. Yeah, I'm fine. Finally feeling the pressure of keeping my feelings inside. Tell someone I'm alright. guess your girl's staying in London for a night. Ooh. I think it'll go well. Wanna make you forever, and I'm thinking about you. Mommy's spelling cheese with a Z. Cheese. Trying to think of a one-pan meal. Boop. Oh, I worked right through that break. Don't mind me. Sorry. I was not paying attention. Do what you want to do. Don't do a me. Wait, what? You need to pick my A-level subjects, but it's so hard to decide whether to do what I'm good at, what I like doing, or what I need to do for my future career. You want to be an architectural designer, but hate physics, but obviously gotta do physics to get to any. Sorry. So, but you like doing architectural engineering, and that's why you're doing it, correct? Like, architectural engineering is what you want to do in the future. Like, that's something that you. It's a defo, yes. So, as much as you are going to hate physics, you're going to need to go to uni to become an architectural engineer. So, you're going to need to take it anyway. So, I would go ahead and do it. Obviously, other classes, but I really don't want to do further maths or chemistry. Do what you need to do what you want to do. Does that make sense? It cracks me up that y'all call it maths. We call it math. But I don't think I want to do further maths and physics. Figure out what you need to do to get to uni and what's going to help you when you're at uni. And go from there. Like, so for example, what I did in high school is we had dual credit classes. So I could do like, some of my classes were like college credit classes that I got to apply towards my degree once I graduated. And so I did dual credit English for both junior and senior year. I did dual credit math. And I did dual credit history for 1 year. And then I took APUSH, which is AP US History. I didn't pass the class. I didn't pass the test, though, for it to apply to my college credit. So I did have to take poli-sci in college, but that's okay. I enjoyed my APUSH class because I had an awesome teacher. And then I took Spanish in high school for 2 years, so I didn't have to take Spanish in college, which helped me. I basically had my first year of associates done when I got to college. So that helped me work on my first year of my master's, my last year of my undergrad. Art would probably help you in architecture. I had not a roommate, but a friend who I was with who took architecture. He didn't do architectural engineering. He was just architecture. He was like environmental architecture. So he did the things for like figuring out, like, he had to study like plants and stuff a lot. Well, Chunker? Try again? But here's the thing, if you don't do those things that you have to do for uni, you're gonna have to do those things while at uni, and that's just gonna add like extra work. 1 second. We love when well, in the UK, you wouldn't be able to get into the course. So 3 subject picked, and it's so obvious to pick further maths, but I'm going to suck at it. I really want to do something like RE or philosophy or something. That I love when my management gives the wrong address, by the way. Yeah, that's the thing. Are you 100% sure you want to do what you're wanting to do? Like what you think you're going to do? Because I'm in the situation now where I spent 4 years working towards a degree that don't get me wrong, I love my degree. I love that I have a degree and I don't have like student loans to pay off because I had a scholarship, but I've wasted that scholarship because now I'm not even sure I want to do what I got a degree for. So keep that in mind. I'll be right back. I gotta go talk to these people that are coming to work on my house. I'm back. I'm pretty sure there's an ad going right now. In my garden. Or well, no. Hey, you know, they're gone. And John stayed asleep the whole time. So yay. So yeah, make sure you're focusing on something that you want to do with your life and you would be happy doing and that you love doing. I grew up always wanting to do content, but my grandfather was very strict. I wasn't even allowed to have social media for the longest time. When I got Facebook, because my dad made me a Facebook, and I came home and I had a Facebook, my grandfather was pissed. And it really affected me because I had always wanted to do YouTube. I was the era of kid that grew up watching YouTube. Like, and I was like, that's something I want to do with my life. And my grandfather was like, that's not logical. I wanted to do theater in high school. He wouldn't sign the paperwork for me to do theater because parents had to approve of class schedules. And I got Facebook at 14. It was 14, but I wanted to do theater. I'm a theater kid that never got to be in theater unless I was doing church theater. Um, and I wanted to do theater in high school, and my grandfather refused to sign the paperwork for me to take those classes because it was too big of a time commitment. But I was allowed to do ROTC and do all the things in ROTC, which was the same amount of time commitment. And then when I started looking at colleges, it was you have to go to this college. He hid my scholarship letter to the college that my husband went to. That was a full ride because he didn't want me going to the same college as my husband, even though it was only 30 minutes away from the college that I went to. I also had a full ride to that college, but that's fine. That's another time. But I let them push me into doing military. I did ROTC all through high school. I would not change that for the world. I enjoyed my time in ROTC. I did ROTC my freshman year of college. Thanks. I really kicked my ass for the scholarship. It was indeed an academic scholarship. But I really kicked my ass to do ROTC my freshman year, and I couldn't because I was disabled. And I put so much time into ROTC and doing the military and doing social work in the military that when I got out of ROTC after my first semester, I didn't know what to do with myself. I was already on the line to get a social work scholarship. Even though I'd only done one semester, I was advanced, so I was already I was already partially way through my social work degree, and I was like, okay, well, this is what I have to do now. To my family, there was no reclassing your degree. And so I stayed and I did social work for 4 years. And I would not change. I love the information that I have from social work. I love the work experience that I got from social work. I worked with mental health advocacies all across America. I worked with military personnel for my last year of college, and I loved it. I helped veterans with scholarships and everything, and I would not change that for the world. I love the information I have because it really helps me with what I do now. I'm a military spouse. I work one-on-one with military personnel every day. I don't work with them in the sense of as a professional, but that's my community, and so I'm able to be hey, yeah, military life fucking sucks. But I'm able to help them with that. I've had people come to me asking about how VA benefits work because that was my job for a year. I'm really smart with mental health. I literally, like, I love what I do, but if I could go back and change it and actually do what I wanted to do with my life, I would probably go back to school for video editing and like social media management, um, or maybe a business degree. Maybe you go to for real. Oh, thanks. And let me preface, anytime I'm giving Ebony mental health advice, I'll always say, I am not a licensed professional. I'll say, I'm not a licensed professional, but you should probably talk to your licensed professional about this. Every time. Or if it was me, this is what I would do. But I would probably go back for something social media management, business degree, something like that. Um, because I really do. Like, I was really pressured to do social work. Which, yet again, I really enjoyed it. Uh, I really enjoyed what I learned doing it. But especially in today's political climate, because social work is ultimately political, it is really exhausting. Yeah, I always talk about it to my therapist, so it's okay, for real. Good. I'm proud of you. Um, but like doing social work in any way, shape, or form right now is so mentally exhausting. She knows about me. Ah, you talked to your therapist about me? Oh, I'm flattered. Hopefully, all good things. As long as I'm not the reason you're talking to your therapist and you just talk about me to your therapist, that's all that matters. The goal is not to be the reason why somebody has to talk to a therapist, but be the person that they talk about to their therapist. But yeah, no, I am like, I am like even I've talked to Luke about this. Like I've thought about going back to school, and I told him we were on the road to go visit family for the holidays, and I was like, I don't think I'm gonna finish my master's degree. He's like, why? And I was like, I just don't think I would be happy. I was like, it really sucks because like that is something I am very blessed with. I don't have any student loans. Even my husband has student loans, and he sold his soul to the military. Uh, but I don't. I have no student loans. I don't relate, but like, I was like, I feel terrible. Like, I wasted a scholarship on a degree that I'm not even going to use professionally. Um, because I 100%, like, I would go back to school, but I wouldn't do social work. And part of that is because I would have to, like, do a practicum for a whole year on top of doing school, on top of being a mom, when I could go to school for 2 years because I already have my undergrad, so it's not like I need to go back for like basic education stuff. I could go to school for 2 years and get a degree in like video or like videography or business management or something, um, and do it that way. Uh, but yeah, no, I 100% feel terrible because I feel like I 100% just wasted my degree. Not my degree, my scholarship. I do feel like I'm wasting my degree, but also I tell myself I'm not because, like, in this field of like content creation, if you've been here for a while, I've been a huge mental health advocate the whole time that I've been content creating. I've always been like, take care of yourself. Like, that's one of the reasons why I've gone on so many breaks. I've taken breaks for mental health. Uh, it's really important to take care of yourself. But, and that's one thing that's like really been bothering me lately is pause. He slept with him being here. If he wakes up right now, I'm gonna be so mad. But yeah, um, I haven't spoken about a lot that's going on in the US in my content because I have so much empathy fatigue right now from all the stuff going on that it's exhausting. Because like I feel like I can't do anything because I am a mom. I have to prioritize being there for my kid and being alive, but like the fact that I even have to say I have to prioritize being alive instead of fighting for other people to have rights is absolutely insane. Um, and I know most of you guys are not from the US, most of you guys are UK peeps, but like I even saw that like our news in the US is being censored to an extreme, and you guys are even seeing more news about what's going on here than we are. Um, like I heard that you guys actually saw video footage of Alex Preddy being shot. Um, there's no footage of him actively being hit with bullets for us. It's all covered by people standing. Um, and even just what I've seen of it was really jarring. Um, not to get super deep, but that I had to sit. I was laying in bed and I like looked at Luke because Luke was like, I avoid that news because I can't do anything about it, which is completely fair. He can't. He's in the military. He's not allowed to have a political opinion, and I have to be careful with mine. Uh, and I looked at him and I was like, it kills me on the inside because I, like, before having John, could have been in that position. Now that we have John, I don't put myself out there. I try to be very safe. I don't try to get myself into any trouble because I have to be there for him. My husband goes out every day. He has a very high risk job. So I don't have the option to do high risk things like that. Like I don't go to protests anymore. The fact that I even have to say that protests are high risks is insane. Because protests are supposed to be peaceful. People aren't supposed to be getting injured and killed at protest. And so like I told him, I was like, the fact that like before we had John, that could have been me in that situation because he was helping somebody on the street. And I've said before, like, not to pat myself on the back, but I am that person that would give you the shirt off my back. As long as my kid was taken care of, I would give you the shirt off my back. And so the fact that like that happened to somebody that was just trying to help somebody is heartbreaking to me. And that's why I haven't said a lot about it because I was talking to one of my friends on Discord. I have a lot of empathy fatigue right now. So it's really hard. Thank you. It's really hard to talk about it when I can't do a lot to fix it. And so like that's why I understand my husband's point of view of like he avoids that kind of news because he can't do anything. And so like I have a hard time talking about it because I can't do a lot about it. But know that I do not think that any of this going on in the U.S. is okay. I do want to make that known, because I don't want to be silent about it. I don't want people questioning what my views are. I don't think it's okay. Um, we even have a friend who is a United States immigrant, and she is in a very ICE populated city right now. And I messaged her, they have a child John's age. And I even like at the very beginning of all this, I had told her, I was like, if you are ever in trouble, you call me. And so when ICE presence became really big in their city again, I texted her and I was like, are you okay? And she's like, yes. I was like, my offer still stands. I know I don't live there anymore, but like, you call me, I'm on the next flight. You call me, I'm looking up legal representatives for you. You call me, I'm on the next flight to come take care of your daughter. I'll drop everything. Because they're birthday twins. I say, we know them because me and her were in labor together. And like our husbands were deployed together. We were surviving that deployment together. And she was alone with her husband overseas. Her husband's overseas again while all this is going on. And so I was like, you call me, I'm on the next fucking flight. Me and John will come there and we will take your baby and I will help you. I will take care of her and I will help you get legal representation. I don't care. Because even the fact that I have to worry about that is insane. Like her husband is in the United States military. So, and if people don't like that I'm talking about politics, this isn't the place for you. Yet again, I have a social work degree. I have way more knowledge on this stuff than most people realize. I am literally trained to read policies. I took 2 years worth of policy classes. So, exactly. The fact that people can't even leave their house without fear is absolutely insane to me. And that's the thing. I don't like. I'm all for a peaceful protest. I will go to one, but I don't know what other people are gonna do, and I can't. I can't risk that. And yeah, I don't agree with someone getting in someone's face and calling names. Like it doesn't help. And yeah, I don't blame you. I wouldn't either. Um, like I told Luke, I was like, it sounds very terrible, but I'm friends that do, and that drives me insane. Um, I have family members that do. I have family members that are immigrants. And so the fact that like it enrages me. Even if I didn't have family members that were immigrants, like it would still enrage me. But even more so that I have family members and really close friends that I'm having to send a text once a week of like, hey, it should be buffering. I think my bit rate's dropping. But yeah, no. But back to co-working. But in case anybody is wondering where Makayla stands, that's where Makayla stands. Because I don't handle that stuff. I'm not okay with that stuff going on. I don't know what's going on. But you know. It's a black screen for you. Should be coming back. It looks like my stuff is coming back, maybe. Is it working now? By chance? Okay. But yeah, no. In case anybody is wondering where I stand, that is where I stand. I do not think that any of what's going on is okay. And I'm not ashamed to say that. Good. But got my meal plan done. I did film Date Everything episode 3, so I do need to edit it. I still haven't filmed episode 5 of Cottage Craft, because some stuff came up on Thursday. Take a sip. Ooh. Thank you. Okay, my guitar is coming on Monday. I'm so excited for you. My child's coughing. Is he gonna stay asleep? He's rubbing his face. Oh no. Stay asleep. Yeah, no, that was one thing. Like, I've seen a lot of videos, and if you follow me on TikTok, you know my views because I repost videos that are very explicit of my views. But like I've seen a lot of videos that were like, what radicalized you? And it's like growing up reading the Bible. Because yeah, I was taught to love others and take care of others, and so that's what I'm gonna do. But yes, Ebony does know how to play. Ebony makes music. Ebony is really good at making music, actually. She won't tell you that, but Ebony's really good at music. Ebony used to be in a band. Isn't that right, Ebony? Yeah, Ebony used to be in a band. Also, now I think about it, I don't think I'm going to be able to edit because yeah, Ebony used to be in a band. She was the drummer, though. She was the drummer. Hey, I think that being the drummer is probably the hardest one because, like, yeah, the lead singer is the lead singer, but the drummer is who builds the pace. I'm just putting it out there. Like, when I was in band, percussion was the important category because if percussion was off, everybody was off. Just putting it out there. Thanks for a band. It was low key good. So, yeah. But yeah, Ebony was in a band. I didn't realize you guys had started like making an income from it though. I didn't know that. You also went on a hiatus after that, so we did make music but never realized. What do you mean? How did you not realize you were making music? Released. Okay. I was like, what do you mean you never realized? How did you not realize you were making music? Okay, I've got to call housing really quick, so I'm going to mute. Well, I'm happy I had to call because apparently they also still had us moving in on the 26th, not the 24th. And she was like, "Oh, well, it says here that you guys are moving in on the 26th." And I was like, "We like had emails saying that we were moving in on the 24th." So, thankfully I made that call because now she's getting the coordinator to call us back and everything. That was good, but it's going to be a while before she gets back with me. Um, Thankfully I had to make that call because that would have been bad. Um, I'm a little upset if I showed up on the 23rd and was told, "Hey, so you actually have to find a hotel." I'm a little upset. It's fine. It's fine. Um, I have to mark some of my punches. I don't have like a single hole punch, by the way, so I just use my gigantic hole punch, or at least try to. I need to get a single hole punch because I can't reach the insides of this hole punch. I know, I'm happy I called. That would have been so bad if we showed up on the 23rd at that house and was like, "Okay, we're ready to move in." And they'd been like, "You're not supposed to move in until this date." And we'd be like, "Excuse me? Akuma?" Don't mind me just marking that I read 6 books even though I haven't because it's the only one I can mark. Who knew the tube is so cheap? What do you mean? The tube? What tube? Why are we talking about tubes? Is this Pumped Up Kicks? It is. Okay. I was like, is this Pumped Up Kicks? Okay. Hold on a second. Percy, get up. 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 The baby's crying. Get up. Capped at $7 a day and you can use it all day. Interesting. It's called the Tube. That's such an... I guess it is an underground train, so it is like a tube. That's so interesting that it's called the Tube. I'm just gonna write, actually. As we making arrangements. Oh, nice. Also, yeah, so Thursday I was supposed to film Date Everything during the day, but then my client finally got back with me, and I was like, okay, well, I'll have it done for you by noon. So yesterday I ended up spending all of it up drawing. And they haven't gotten back with me on, like, on it yet, but let's see. Let me double check that I did send it. I did send it. But you know, I sent it to them. Here, I can show you guys this at least. So I did my art. This is what I did for me client. So it's a sticker design. I did that. I did that right there. I'm very proud of myself. I'm trying to be proud of myself because, like, you guys are saying it's cute, but like I'm looking at it and I can see all the imperfections in it, and I'm trying to be kind to myself because it's my first like actual graphic that I've made for someone. And so I am trying to be kind to myself and not tear myself up because it is cute. And so I'm trying not to be hard on myself, but I did it. I did it. Um, See, I could look at it and I could tell you that like some of my lines aren't right and some of them are choppy, but that's just because I'm really hard on myself. Ooh. See, but I see the things that you're making. Like you send me your little emotes and stuff that you're making, and they're so cute. And I'm like, oh, maybe I should go to Ebony for art. Like your little emotes are cute. They're so cute. You shut up right now. Like you'll send me like Snapchats of them. I'm like, oh my god, those are so cute. It's what we need tonight. What we needed tonight, honestly. Yes. Listen, this is such a. Let's see. I have how many songs are in my like? I have 1,112 songs. Parky said to me, "God, why are you so much better at me than everything?" And I'm like, "Bish, she is so good." I'm really excited to see what her blind boxes end up looking like. But yeah, no, I have 1,112 like songs. I don't do a lot of playlists on Spotify. I just do. She's finished them. I haven't seen anything about them. Yes, you should. You should. Okay, I'm gonna regret this, but I was like really thinking, I was like, there's no reason that, like, yes, so there's like a tourney in my book about like that, like, they come and they compete in this tourney and the winner gets the princess's hand. And I'm like, okay, yes, a lot of people would come for that tourney because, you know, they would get to be the king because she's the heir to the throne. She has no siblings. So they would get to be the king. But like, what's in it for the losers? You know what I mean? Other than like, oh, you lost the princess's hand type of situation. And so I was thinking, I was watching Bridgerton yesterday because, you know, the first part of the new season of Bridgerton came out yesterday. And I watched all 4 episodes in one day. And I was like, you know, it would make a lot more sense for it to be like a tourney, but also like kind of a suitor type situation. Like, you know, like in Bridgerton, they have like this season. And so, like, I think also it should be like a. The women of the kingdom also come, like the debutantes esque of the kingdom. So the unmarried ladies and everything else come. And like, it's kind of like a. They're also like putting themselves out there to try to get marriage candidates, if that makes sense. And like they get the pickings, quote unquote. They normally get the pickings. Obviously they are. It's gonna be different. Like my main character is like, no, fuck this fucking tourney, whatever, and gets with the male main character in the end. But like thinking that might be the route I go. Because like why would they come like if there's only one person that's gonna win? You know what I mean? Like there's no like runner up gift. So like maybe they come also like in the hopes of like if I don't win the tourney, at least I could leave with a wife. Even if it's not the princess. That's my logic. It also makes like sense, I guess, for me. Because I feel like also it wouldn't just be oh, there's a princess, let's wait 18 years to marry someone in case we might get to, well, Mirren's like 22, actually. Sorry. I'm not doing the whole like 18-year-old main character. It bugs me. I'm tired of it. So she's like 22, I think. Something like that. Um, but like, yeah, she'd be 22 because her and Varric's only like a year older than her, and you don't go to bond your dragon until you're 18. Varric bonded Ignis and then went into training for Royal Guardship for 2 years, so that put him at 20. He's been her guard for, yeah, mathing, 22 years. That's math. She's like 22. But yeah, no, I'm thinking I want to do that more than. Oh, sorry. For Baltimore came on and just instant emo kid relaxation hit. Sorry. But I can't read on right now. Half drunk, searching up something up. Substance. Be next to me. I don't want to say when we're together. Why can't? So who decides which like debutante or wherever it goes to the people who compete for the princess's hand? So in historical context, because Bridgerton's actually pretty historically accurate with the way that it's a break time, so I'm gonna go into my little nerdy shit. It's actually pretty historically accurate on like the season, because that is actually a thing that was a thing. There was like a season that you would go to balls and all this and look for suitors and everything else. And so what it would be is the tourney goes on for a long time in this book because obviously this is a traditional thing. The princess always gets married off to whoever wins the tourney. So whatever princess there is, my main character's mom didn't do it, but like I think it's her like great grandmother was married off in that way. Her mom married her dad. Her dad was the crown prince. But sorry, I lost my train of thought. But the main point of the tourney is whoever wins the most points. And there's like multiple different parts of the tourney. It's not all combat related. Some of it's magic related. So automatically the men who haven't bonded dragons are kind of already lacking in that sense because they don't have magic. But I'm still working on the full like flesh out of the tourney, but there's combat, there's like the typical like jousting, hand to hand combat, stuff like that. There's also like puzzle type riddle things. And so everyone has a chance, but it's like any other thing. There are people that sabotage. Sabotage is very frowned on, but that doesn't mean it doesn't happen. That doesn't mean that like people aren't paid off to do things, people aren't poisoned or like purposefully injured so that they can't compete in other parts of the tourney. Like, it's a dirty deal. Not against any rules. What do you mean? Like, there are rules. Like, you're not supposed to sabotage. Like, but that doesn't mean that that doesn't happen. Yeah, like there is a rule that like you're not supposed to interfere. Like, it's just supposed to be the tourney. That doesn't mean that it doesn't happen because people, that's just human nature. And also in Mirren's case, Mirren is going to be the queen because her mother, it's kind of like a Targaryen situation. It's like a Rhaenyra Targaryen situation. Her mother died giving birth to her younger brother, and her younger brother passed away as an infant. And so she is the heir to the throne. And so she's not just like your casual princess that people are tourneying for. She is the future queen, and that means that whoever gets to marry her is the future king of this kingdom. And so her tourney's a little bit more high stakes than normal tourneys for the princess's hand. But how it would work is obviously the suitor who wins the tourney gets to marry Mirren. But amongst this tourney, there's balls, there's everything else going on. Mirren's also having to do like tea sittings with these suitors. Like, she has to spend time with them however they want to spend time. Whether that is, there's one suitor who isn't. So there is kind of the main characters that we talk about, like the main suitors that we talk about, are only like so much older. I think the oldest one is Sir Brom, and he's meant to be the character that makes you uncomfortable and not like him. He is very, think Robert Baratheon. Like, that's the first thing. My husband was reading my first manuscript, and he ran into Sir Brom, and he was like, "Why do I just picture Robert Baratheon?" And I was like, "Because that is who he is inspired by." Like, he is a greasy, sleazy asshole, who is just. But he's like 40, so most of the people are younger than 40. There are like some that are older, but they aren't really spoken about. They're just like random side characters. But yeah, no, Sir Brom is like the oldest, and he's like 40-ish. Um, Sorry, I love that like riff. Had to call a friend because I didn't know how to send a message to my manager requesting time off. LOL. I got so scared. Oh no. But in the end, the winner of the tourney would obviously marry Mirren. In theory, that's not what happens. Well, technically. Well, I guess he does end up winning the tourney in the end, but that doesn't even happen until book 2. But sorry, I'm speaking ahead. The male main character in book 1 isn't allowed to compete in the tourney, and then things happen in book 1 that lead to him being able to compete in the tourney, and he ends up competing in the tourney because she's like, "Oh, you don't like him? Let him prove himself. Let him win." But in theory, the winner of the tourney would get to marry the princess, and then since there's balls and other things going on, checking Discord, got it. Since there's other things, like there's balls and other things going on with people, like, you know, meeting or whatever, hold on. Those are so cute. They're sold out. I love that for her. Those are so cute, though. Oh, those are so cute. Um, but since there's balls and everything else going on, they are like meeting other marriage candidates, like the ladies and stuff that are eligible for marriage are meeting other suitors and they are like dancing together. They're still doing like the courtship process. And like as it gets closer to the end of the tourney, you have more and more of an idea of who's going to win. Like it starts dwindling down to like, okay, there's probably like, oh, we're on like the last 5 final guys that will most likely be able to marry her and so forth. But like, so they're courting other women in the process also. And you'll meet some characters in the book aren't interested in marrying her. Like they don't want the crown, but they're under like the social expectancy that they would compete for the crown because who wouldn't? And so like there's one, his name is Arik. What the heck? It should be back. But Arik, for example, he I'm saying Arik, that's not his name. He is a very bookish type guy. He does not know how to talk to the female species. Him and Mirren are really close friends in the sense that like they're both very bookish and they trade books together and they talk books. And she really enjoys his company, but he is not interested in marriage. At least not marriage to the princess. He doesn't want to be king. He's like, I not my type of thing. Um, and so like he purposely sabotages himself in a lot of situations. He's like, but he does end up finding someone that he wants to marry. And so he focuses more on courting her. And so there are people that aren't interested in marriage. They're like marriage to the princess, but they have to still compete in the tourney. It's required that every house have at least one son competing in the tourney. At least every main house has at least one son competing in the tourney, and then there is a ranking limit. Like obviously peasants, common people can't go in to the tourney to marry the princess. Very classist. Certain labels can't go in. So like the male main character is a royal guard. He can't enter the tourney because in becoming a royal guard, he vetoed his ability to hold a lordship. Are we going to talk about how he was forced to do that? No. That's a plot point. But there are certain people that aren't allowed to compete in the tourney. Folk guards are one of them. Peasants aren't allowed. But like a knight could compete, but they have to be like a certain level of knight. That's why Sir Brom is allowed to. I'm not spoiling it. I'm not spoiling it. Sir Brom is allowed to compete because he's a high-ranking knight. Sorry. The great things about writing is that you have to make characters that gross you out. And Sir Brom is one of those characters. But yeah, no. So, like, that's kind of how it works is, like, if you don't win the tourney, you're also working towards courting another marriage candidate. So it's not like most people leave this tourney having a marriage candidate. If you don't, it's because you're considered unmarriable, basically, like in society's standards. So, but I'm only talking about side plots. It's not the main plot. I haven't even touched on the main plot. But, you know, it's an interesting time. Yeah, like talking about Sir Brom being a creep, you learn that in the first like chapter. He's one of the so in the first chapter she meets some of the suitors because they get presented um, when they arrive at the capital, and she knows Sir Brom. Sir Brom has been around the capital a lot, and he's always been a sleazebag. So, and the male main character hates Sir Brom for the fact that he's just a fucking sleazebag. Um, and there's also a character who's very like preppy, pretty boy, fuckboy behavior, and they also hate him. Thank you, Slaya. They also hate him a lot. You guys have to keep in mind that this is a friends to lovers story. So, like, they were raised together, so they have their like inside jokes, and they have their people that they've known for years through court proceedings that they fucking hate. And so sometimes it just takes a look between each other for them to like start being little menaces. But I'm super excited to write a Friends to Lovers because as much as I love a good Enemies to Lovers book, I am tired of them. I have the 20th of June booked off. Yay! That's the day before mine and Luke's anniversary. It's also the month of my birthday. It's on the 19th, but I don't work Fridays, so it'll be fine. But since I'm staying over now, I needed to a little, but I was so scared. You got this. It's okay. I can hear Percy snoring, by the way. Like, she is snoring so loud that I can hear her. Just one thing though, like, these headsets are, this headset's supposed to be pretty noise canceling, but like, the difference between noise canceling with this headset and my husband's headset are so different. Like, I understand why he can't hear shit when he's playing games, because like I put on his headset and I can't hear anything. I can hear everything with these, which is kind of wild. Okay, I'm fine. I'm dead. Seems so fitting for happy ever after. Sorry, my friend is blowing up my phone. Okay. What is the thing leading up to the throne? Isn't it like the... Isn't it called the... No... Dais. That's the word. Don't mind me. Not knowing words. Like, I knew that there was a word for it, and on the inside I knew the word, but I was like, what is this word? The dais. A stall? No? Oop. What are we picking? Honey by Taylor Swift, please. I am adding it to the queue. Why are you saying you, Swift? Because I don't like her, although you never knew. No, I didn't know you didn't like her. Fair. I thought that they were friends. Oh yeah, I knew that they dated, but I thought that they were friends now. Oh, I thought that they were. I'm always a style. For the Brit Award, am I even allowed to vote? Because I'm not British. I feel like that's cheating. Let's see. I don't have to be. I'll have to look at it. I'm gonna finish typing through this break and then we'll end the stream as long as my kiddo stays asleep. Meow. I forgot to say I might be doing an ADHD. Ooh! And that statement right there is exactly why you need one. Yeah, my therapist keeps on going, you know you might have ADHD. Good. I think when I get to Colorado, once I get established with care, I'm probably going to go for an autism and an ADHD exam. I didn't get one while we were in El Paso because, like, my psychiatrist was like, I think you might have them, but you also have a lot of trauma to heal from, and your trauma could also be affecting your behavior. And so he was like, let's figure out your trauma aspects first, and then we'll go from there. You're definitely not too old. I have a friend who is in her late 30s that got tested, and it has helped her tremendously. But he was like, I think you might have autism and or ADHD, but where you're still working through a lot of childhood trauma and processing that, he's like, I want to wait. And so I think I'm going to advocate to get an ADHD and autism assessment done. Because I have worked enough through my trauma and I'm still having the same issues. So I think that is my sign to go ahead and do it. Okay. With that, you need to find someone to raid. Let's see. What is this person doing? That they should want. Okay, they're doing like Animal Crossing, but they have Spirit City Lo-Fi. I don't I don't like that. Sorry. Okay, they're napping. Another year. Sorry, I'm trying to find someone that's not just someone that's like actually interacting with chat. This person's doing diamond painting. That's so fun. Okay, we're gonna rate this person. It's Brianna Alicia. Parky's not streaming. Gosh, I would if Parky was streaming. But we're gonna rate Brianna Alyssa. It looks like they're doing some diamond painting. So we're gonna rate them. They are also talking to chat, which is very important to me. But thank you guys for joining me. I will see you guys on Monday. As of right now, I am streaming Monday, Wednesday, Friday of next week. Friday's stream might get canceled depending on Luke's graduation and what we're doing after that. So, but thank you guys for joining me. I will see you guys later, and bye bye.